thank you for coming out and showing your support of the city of Crittenden. Appreciate that. At this time, I would like for council to take a look at the agenda and approve the agenda, subject to additions or deletions by council.
I have an addition.
What is your addition?
I'd like to present the council with cameras for the city building.
We already have a quote for cameras at this time, so we will be adding that to the list.
More than that.
Agenda. That's, we're going from $2,000 to $10,000, there's a big difference there. Let's, if you don't have the floor, you need to raise your hand, okay? We're gonna try to keep this in order tonight, thank you. Joe?
I'd like to add a discussion topic to the meeting, placeholder for legal support for council in next year's annual budget.
And how much monetary are we talking about?
I think we need to talk about it. If I had to throw out a number, I would say 20,000.
Is that what, that's what's in
Pardon?
the proposed budget for the unit? Is
It would be,
it extra?
okay, well, I didn't want to get into the discussion until we got to it, but the idea is a placeholder. We don't use it unless we need it, but if we need it, I don't want to go through a budget amendment process that takes a couple of months. So it's a placeholder for.
We can talk about that once we get to the budget. Todd, Roberts?
I'd like to, I kind of got used to it. I don't know if it just stopped or what, but the fire report and the police report, if we could get that on a monthly.
You do.
We
Yeah,
have,
Yeah,
the
we
police
did.
we
report,
have,
he will be emailing the police report for tonight's meeting. He couldn't get that together, and there were some issues, so we'll try to get that to you.
Yeah, I have, I'd like to add, discussion about where we are on the fire department contract and the law enforcement contract.
Yeah, when we get down to that, we'll discuss that, but as far as the fire department, the agreement, we're all good on that, they voted on that last week?
We didn't get a copy of the updated, the things that we discussed.
Yeah, we'll get you. We need a motion, agenda?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Mhm.
We need the verbal response.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Mhm.
Thank you. This time we have the presentation of the minutes from the meeting of April 2nd, April 16th, special meeting, and special meeting April 29th.
I have some corrections, please. On the minutes of April the 16th, it says that I voted no on approving the agenda, and I didn't do that.
You voted no, ma'am, that's the second time you've changed your vote.
No.
We're going
And
to take
then-
verbal response as of tonight. We're going to start taking a roll call.
And then on April the 30th, also that I voted no on the volunteer fire department contract, and I did not vote no on that.
You voted no on the contract. We cannot reverse your vote.
Pete, I didn't vote no.
I think we could probably make a note in the minutes, or it should be noted
Okay.
in the minutes, that your statement on that. And I don't know if I've talked to the mayor about this, I can't remember if I talked about this. It was gonna be my recommendation, I'm just gonna go ahead and put it out there now, that, yeah, we do take a formal, with perhaps the exception of the adoption of the agenda, that we do take a formal roll call, you know, each individual's asked and noted at that time, because I do understand there's been a couple disputes over
Yes.
how people voted, and if you have to be acknowledged and vote yea or nay, then hopefully that will stop that.
I went back and looked at the YouTube video that Mr. Roberts' wife, and I did not see that she voted yes on that, so we'll move on.
A good question on the minutes for the 30th. The 5 things I said at the end, I know it was a real busy meeting and there was a lot going on, but none of the 5 things that I said toward at the end of the meeting there got put into the minutes. And nothing against you all, it was a long meeting and there was a lot said. I can go over the 5 things again to make sure that they get put into the minutes, either today's.
We have it on record, we'll take control of that.
Well, I would like it to be in the actual hard copy
Yeah,
of the
we'll get
minutes,
that.
please.
That's an easy fix.
That's an easy fix, all 5 things, thank you. Let me know when I can see them. I'll be passing out to council.
Well, along with that, the changes that we discussed about the fire department contract are not on minutes either, so could we add those as well?
Would you just ask a few
The
more?
changes that we discussed about the fire department contract were not on, they're not on here. And there were significant changes that we asked for.
We'll make a copy of that. She's got it ready, but we'll give that to you. The significant changes, I'm not clear on that, though, other than, I'm not understanding you, Ms. Humphries.
Well, do I need to go back over, pull out my own notes?
The changes to the fire department, when we get the, you know, we
The
have
council
time.
had a lot of comments about that.
I believe we voted on that night for that agreement.
But if they weren't in the contract, the last one that we received just before the meeting, they were not in that contract, and we asked that they be added. You all remember that?
Yes, I do remember.
You remember that?
Do we have a final version?
I was worried about my 5 things, I had to say, I was kind of,
I believe the difference was the fire hydrants.
That was one of them.
We didn't change that.
that was one of
That
them.
wasn't changed.
That should be changed because they can't be required to do that 2 times.
You're changing that, but that wasn't changed. We agreed on that.
No, we agreed that
The council voted on that.
we agreed that
You agreed.
would you let me finish speaking?
Go ahead.
That the water company was gonna do one of those flushes, was that right? And that you all were only gonna be required to do one. And so we asked that it not be in the contract that 2 were required, because this is a contract with the fire department.
Lee, did you ever get a copy of the contract yet?
I got a copy of it. It was not presented by council, but I got a copy of it to look at.
The first one or the second one?
The one the mayor had handed to you guys, because my numbering was different from what you all had.
Can I ask a question?
No, let's raise your hand, and I will address the,
Well, they're not.
please. We can't have everybody talking on the floor at the same time. Or we'll never make it through the night. Go ahead, Lee.
I was pretty much, that's it.
We have this, and we'll get to it at the end, is your fire department contract. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
And the things that I said, the 5 things at that meeting will be added into the minutes?
Yes, Dan.
Okay.
I need a motion to approve all the minutes from April 2nd, 16th, and the 29th. Make a motion. All in favor? Those opposed? Moving on to the treasurer's report. Ms. Simpson, the treasurer's report for April 2019.
Okay, the general fund balance is $438,651.89. Municipal road aid fund is $29,747.29. The certificates of deposit is $2,878,156.78. You have the checks before you.
Mr. Roberts?
For the showplace landscaping, what exactly would you get for that?
The showplace landscaping?
It's on the first page, but
Yeah,
halfway
that
down.
was, taking out the old mulch, replaced. JD, you wanna tell us what all was replaced out there?
Flower bed,
The flower bed and the,
they took the old mulch out, put new mulch in, put new flowers in, redid, welcome to Crittenden sign on at $25 road.
I believe they'll come back 3 times.
and they come back 3 times.
So which were the credit card bills? Were those ones from Force Bank? On page 1, 3/4 of the way down, is that credit card bills? Yes?
Yes.
Yes. The $795, which credit card did that belong to?
I believe that was Mayor Patton's, and I believe the other one is JD's, and the 19 one is mine.
Thank you.
Any questions on that, Danielle? You would like to explain it?
I don't have,
Thank you.
I don't have the receipt.
Oh, okay. We don't have the receipts here, but I can tell you, most of that was training.
Is there any way we could start getting copies of those receipts? I believe they did get those out at other, yeah, please.
Yeah, that's not a problem.
Now, the 1621 back to show, please. The 3 return, or the 2 other return trips, or 3 other return trips, that's covered.
Right, yes.
Okay.
What's A&A safety, please?
That is for signs that we have to order, any kind of street signs, road signs, anything like that.
What's this Kentucky deferred? I know it's,
Kentucky deferred comp, that is money that is held out of mine and JD's check. It's not, the city does not match it or anything, we just withhold it and send it into the
401K.
form.
what hole did we have removed?
Oakwood. Had a vote when they started surveying and doing. Any more questions? I have a motion to approve the amended treasurer's report.
I'll make a motion.
All in favor?
I'll second.
Any opposed? Would you like to
All
vote?
those in favor?
Ms. Humphries, would you like to vote?
I didn't hear you.
She paid here
Will
for
you-
the air.
Do you approve the? We address the old business. A, the second reading of ordinance 270, 2019, the cost of living raise for the legislative body. An ordinance that the city of Crittenden, Grant County, has adopted the cost of living adjustment is calculated by the Department of Local Government and thereby adjusting the compensation of the council members accordingly. This compensation of the council members shall be increased in accordance with the cost of living adjustments calculated by the Kentucky Department of Local Government. Accordingly, the compensation of council members shall increase 1.9% effective as of the enactment of this ordinance. I need your vote on that. Oh, we need a motion to
Just for the
approve.
public, I guess, What does it factor out to be?
1.9% of around $300, it's about $22.
It ain't worth it.
$1.90 a month if you want to know the truth.
Do I have a motion to approve the ordinance for the pay raise for the cost of living for council? Motion? Anything else? Second reading. That was the second readings. As we move on for the second reading of ordinance, the budget amendment for 2018-19.
Before we make a motion, can we discuss things about it?
Yeah, give me just a moment, Dan, okay?
Okay, no problem.
This ordinance 271, 2019 is, whereas the city of Crittenden must adopt an ordinance amending the budget for fiscal year 2018, 2019. It is ordained by the city council of Crittenden that amends the budget of the city of Crittenden for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2019, as shown on the attached exhibit prepared by the city clerk entitled City of Crittenden, Kentucky, year ending June 30th, 2019. The amended budget is prepared by her and signed on March 29, 2019. Dan, you have questions?
Yes, on the next page, you all did a real good job with what you just read on that one. So on the next page, actually, before the budget summary, you talked about that there were, you did really good. There's a lot of things that we're getting ready to spend money on. I mean, even the water park is something we're getting ready to talk about to do too.
Danny, can I stop you for a minute? That is the new budget. This is the old.
This is
the old
That they're
budget.
amending stuff too?
We're amending to the old budget. That is the new budget. You should have had the amended budget in a previous packet.
Okay. It talked about that there's been some, and like I said, you're all doing really good. I mean, explaining this, that there were some budget increases, additions, and deletions. Is there any way we can find out what the deletions were from where, and what additions were to where, and were our employee raises in this budget?
We're not following you.
You're on the new
You're
budget.
on the new
I
budget.
turned the page too quick?
Yeah.
Okay, I turned the page too quick, sorry.
Come back here.
Come back, okay.
This
I
is
turned
the
the page.
amendment due to Worthington Trailer Park, due to Oakwood, different things that.
Right.
Talking about this letter right here.
Yes,
No,
well,
that's for the new
no,
budget.
that's for the new one.
It would have been in your other packet.
Okay,
Packet.
as I work.
Continue. Thank you.
Just kick me when I.
As we look over the amended budget, do we have any questions?
As I remember it, was, and I don't have the old one in front of me, I think it was about a $400,000 adder for cumulatively over pro forma. So, and it was things that included the stuff that wasn't included in last year's budget, like the trailer park, like some of the repairs, like some of the engineering costs, and those things. I don't remember what was deleted though.
You're gonna be wrong.
Judge, here it is.
The net on net was about well, you got to hear 385. Good memory, 385.
No, here.
No, just one thing, because I was already over it.
Any other questions on the amended budget?
So the money not used on the lane cleanup will be put back into the general.
Yeah, sure.
And we're fortunate on that really. With the demolition, you see his equipment up there today, we're starting on that. I'm looking forward to, and I'm sure you guys are as well, to get that taken care of. We had put in the budget much more than expected than what it turned out to be. We did have a little bit of surprise with asbestos in the one building that was costly, but all in all, we did, I think, we came out.
We did well. We did well.
I need a motion to amend the budget. Motion?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Paul. Second?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Do we need a roll call? Okay. Joseph?
Yes.
Joe is yes. Paula?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Harleen?
Yes.
Sorry, Dean. Todd?
Yes.
Danny?
The next ordinance, second reading of the ordinance 272, 2019. This is an interlocal agreement with the road department. An ordinance updating the interlocal agreement with the county of Grant addressing cooperative road maintenance between the city of Crittenden and the county of Grant. In a short summary, this is the snow removal of the city for the year.
Pretty much all that covers.
That's all that covers. And that just depends on what municipal aid that we have that comes in for the snow removal and,
You don't have that.
for that. We have a motion to pass the ordinance. This is the second reading for the interlocal agreement with Grant County and the Road Department.
I'll make a motion.
Second,
Yes.
need a roll call.
Yes, sir.
Joe? Yes. Paula?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Harleen?
Yes.
Todd?
Yes.
Danny?
Yes.
Thank you.
Next item of old business is the ABC Administrator Pay Scale Vote. Ordinance 249-2016, an ordinance related to the amendment of the personnel ordinance of the city of Crittenden, Grant County, Kentucky. Whereas the city of Crittenden has herefore adopted an ordinance relating to employment classifications and duties of personnel. The city of Crittenden is desirous of amending the same by making provision for an alcohol beverage control administrator within the city. Be it ordained by the city council of the city of Crittenden, there shall be added to the pay classification plan a grade 10 with a minimum salary of $10,000 per annual yearly and a maximum salary of $15,000 entitled City of Crittenden Alcoholic Beverage Administrator. I at this time would like to let the public know I am the alcohol administrator of beverage control. Also, they have passed a law that there is up to a 6% increase added to the alcohol and sales in the city of Crittenden, which will generate much revenue for the city. So they did pass that. That will start in July. I need a motion of the pay scale.
One second, please. How many businesses do we have that would be?
I believe 8.
And Megan, the last time I asked, I said to date, the city gets $3,200 for the sale of a liquor license in the city.
I believe that's correct.
It looks like, according to this revenue summary that we just got, effective 3/31/19, that we've only collected $200 this year.
Well, they fell at the end of the year, so then the auditors put it back in for the year before. So like, when it hits, they don't come in until July to pay it. So the auditors will take that number and put it back in the old
In the
budget,
prior year.
where you see the prior year beside that. So when we get the money in this year, that'll make the difference.
Question, do we have, and Pete, this is probably coming between the two, do we have to issue an ordinance to implement House Bill 29 that includes the, whatever the percentage is that we choose of the sales of over 8
I would
businesses?
say, I would have to, I haven't read that bill, but unless it said that you had to take an affirmative act to adopt it, and it may, so it's House Bill
29.
29.
And I talked to, this is months ago, when we were at the training, probably 4 or 5 times with J.D. Cheney,
Yeah, I
And
may say so.
we were omitted, even though like Williamstown and other communities our size had it, but it really seemed, and this is layman's, it was my perception they treated it as a separate entity, a separate document to do that, because there's a lot of homework that has to go into assessing what that fee is going to be. So I'm just questioning, do we need yet another ordinance to do it? I don't
I'll
know.
get you the
I was in a
answer, Joe.
meeting with Chuck Dills and Mr. Skinner, Mayor Skinner this morning, and he advised that there would be an ordinance to change to ask what we're gonna present for the percentage of alcohol sales. So that's, I'm just relaying what Mayor Skinner said.
And I think that's a healthy discussion to have.
Yeah, I think with his wisdom and knowledge and how many years he's been mayor, I would say he's really up to it.
Is it 29, Joe? Is it 29?
It was HB 29, yeah, it was passed like 2 months ago.
Well, that's got to do with fishing tournaments.
Todd, you have a question?
I'll find it.
Yes. I'm
You had a senior moment too.
having issues with the 10 to 15,000 salary, when only 3,000 can possibly come back.
Let me ask a
Maybe
question.
4.
Okay, let me ask a question. To the code enforcement officer that the council granted $16,500, how much revenue has the code enforcement brought in? No revenue.
Okay.
So that's a position that has to be filled as the ABC administrator.
Does anybody else see what, I just,
Just wait until they vote.
prior to vote, I cannot in good conscience sit in front of these people and take a $12,000 loss. That's not business.
When it generates, as a code enforcement officer writes citations, that's gonna generate some, but the ABC, I mean, we at least get 3,000 already, you know. We have to have an ABC administrator. Do you
We've
not-
always had that, right?
Since it's passed, yeah.
I mean, how long have we had one?
You would have had to have one as soon as sales started, before sales started. In
So
Crittenden, you would have had to, so I
Did it
whatever the
before
math
that.
is on
Living
that.
Good did it for free.
Mayor Linnigan did it for free.
Yeah.
Chuck Dills does it for free for the county, and the guy that did it before him was Bonnie Newman, and excuse me,
Mayor Skinner and Mayor Brockman both draw a salary other than $8,000 a year. I don't wanna do 2 jobs for $8,000 a year. Now, you can be, you know, you can be mad at me or what have you, but I don't feel like this community and what is, you know, the hours that we put in would be against an ABC administrator pay if there's a job to be done. And it's serious.
I agree, it's a serious job.
So you're thinking that I should do this for free? You've been on council maybe 3 weeks,
I've been in life for 52 years. I know how
but
to
you've
run
been
a
on
business.
council, I'm just telling you
This-
that there's a lot of
this
work
is
in
very
this city.
true.
There's a lot of work in this city.
I understand that.
Are we gonna take a vote, because really, you know, we could move on with this.
Okay. Dan,
Yeah, we voted.
for the salary.
yes.
I mean, I
No.
think point of order, somebody needs to make a motion,
It's in the
to accept
ordinance,
this.
it's in the ordinance. I can give myself this raise, or I can let you all make a decision if it's 10,000.
I make a motion to table it.
I'm not telling you.
You don't have a choice.
Motion to
Yes, we
postpone
do.
indefinitely. I make a motion to postpone indefinitely.
I'll second it.
Okay, can we slow down for just a moment? Ms. Lowry had a motion on the table to table it, and that either needs a second or it needs to die for lack of a second procedurally.
All
Or
right,
she can withdraw it.
I can withdraw it and go with what Danny said.
All right, now there's no motion of any sort on the table.
I'm gonna veto that.
What was Danny's motion?
To table it
Well, Danny-
indefinitely.
I mean, if, now that the table is, and again, I'm going to try to interject a little more.
I make a
Order.
motion, I make a motion that we give her the 10.
Right. So there is a motion on the floor, and it needs a second. If there is no second, it will die for lack of a second. Within a reasonable period of time, which is not defined anywhere that I'm aware of.
In good conscience, Joe, do you have anything?
I'll make a comment after we finish this.
It would be my opinion that the motion is died for lack of seconds, and now the floors, the table, the floor, whichever you want to call it, is open for anyone to make a motion on this topic. And you can make that motion as long as it's on the topic of setting the pay rate, whatever motion someone would like to make, and that, along those lines would be appropriate. If there is none,
So I can say what I said before now?
No, you're too late.
I mean, well,
Can I make a related comment that might lead to a motion?
sure.
Okay, the related comment would be, House Bill 29 was just passed, we haven't implemented it yet. I researched other cities that have done that when we were at our training several months ago and talked to J.D. Cheney and 2 or 3 others on what it takes to do that. And it's a fair amount of work because you've got to assess and get the businesses to agree to, this is the volume and dollars of sales in each one of that. And then we assess anywhere from 0 to 6% taxable fee. In my personal opinion, you ought to start somewhere in the middle so you don't kill the businesses coming out of the blocks. But it's going to take a while to do that. Let's do it because I think it's a semi-painless way of getting revenue that doesn't hurt individual taxpayers. Once we assess that revenue, I think we can make a reasonable decision on, we'll know what the amount of work is and make a reasonable salary assessment for what that extra is. From an ethical standpoint, I personally don't believe we need to inflate the ABC job because the mayor's salary is low.
I agree with that.
But I think,
But it is a
It is a lot
job.
of work.
It is.
It is a lot of work.
Oh,
I'll say it's not zero.
What work is it?
I mean, I wouldn't want it.
What work is it?
Have you read the ABC?
You have to put a packet together, if you don't mind if I'm saying this, you have a packet for the application. Some business calls and says, I'm opening up a restaurant or a fast food restaurant or a convenience store or anything,